What's going on? What's going on, everybody? It is the only sports podcast. That's right, the only sports podcast. I'm Will. That's Casino over there. How we doing today, Casino?
I'm alive. Doing pretty good. Just gotta get my stress into good levels. It's been a little hot lately. But you know what can you expect when you have two kids and a job and podcast and all the things? Started working out more, and it's been outstanding. Joined a circuit like gym. Really good. It's really fun. I actually enjoy it.
Yeah. Dare I say you look fantastic, not dumpy at all, and getting less dumpy by the day,
Less
if I do
dumpy.
say so.
I will take that.
I'm hearing myself on an echo, so I'm going to take those off. I don't know why I try to wear these during the podcast.
I don't either. I've talked to you about it. You just pull everything
I know
towards you, and it's just a mess. And
yeah,
it's all
but
that. We do have a shortened show today, just because life. Let's just call it that.
yeah.
Just life. This time it wasn't even really like getting everything set up. Just life. With that being said, we do have some important things. I know there's not a lot going on in the NFL. We could probably talk hours and hours on NFL just because that's the NFL. But we are going to hit some NBA today. We're going to even get some hockey. Baseball starts today. So let's get it.
Well, today's not opening day, right? It's training camp.
Spring training.
Spring training.
Baseball starting today.
Yeah.
There's games going on that you can watch on television.
If I could give you right now, Casino, the Field or the Dodgers to win
the Dodgers.
I think so too.
I already have it pulled up, and I think we'll just start off with this. We'll start off with this. Spring training, baseball, Dodgers. They have the best roster, I think, in my lifetime for sure, but one of the best rosters probably ever put together in Major League Baseball history.
Jesus.
Going into this year. Yeah. It's insanity on how good this team is. Almost every starter that they have for pitching in their rotation could be an ace on every single team.
Yeah.
So they're killer there. They have the bats. What's not to like about this team? Oh yeah, they're the Dodgers and they're going to win. But they're spending a lot of money, so they expect to win. And that's the thing, is when you're this franchise, and there's some Dodger fans out there already, like, I'm tired of spending all this money. The team spending all this money, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, why? You're going to win chips. You're going to win the championship almost every single year doing it this way, because that's how baseball's set, is you don't, there's no cap. There's no cap. You can just spend money, and you can make friendly deals, and it's so dumb.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it kind of, again, this is one of those things where it's like, oh, people love dynasties. They love where teams just dominate everything. And then it's just like, I don't think that's true. Because again, and the people who make those arguments just use that argument where it's like, look at the television ratings, look at this, look at that. And it's just like, every year the Super Bowl gets more and more viewers and a higher number and all that kind of stuff. It's not because people are like, oh my God, I'm so excited for the Chiefs to be in it for the 5th year in a row. Like, I think, again, when it's like the big markets, obviously Dodgers are one of the biggest, MLB teams in all sports.
In all sports. Like, it transcends, across the world. It's kind of like Manchester United for soccer. People know who Manchester United is. It transcends. Everybody knows who the Dodgers are. Yeah. Like, they're a world-renowned known team.
Yeah, but it is one of those things where the Chiefs, obviously, we can say, like, they're kind of like a small market team. Then they just became a dynasty, and now they're kind of, in the world of the NFL, like, big. But as you just said, Dodgers are, like, not only big in Major League Baseball, they're like one of the biggest brands ever. So I think if they did have a dynasty, like, that would be one of the things that, again, baseball's struggling to get viewers, and they've signed some of the dumbest television and streaming deals you're ever going to see, with what you remember when MLB was on Apple TV and nobody gave a single shit. I still don't know if it's on Apple TV. I don't know if they lost that streaming service or what happened, but it was just one of those things where, yeah, it's just, I think the Dodgers being really good will help baseball, but I don't think them being like this giant monolith that crushes everybody else and wins, 30 more games than everybody else. I don't think that will help baseball.
Right.
Because
Totally.
then, like, dynasties are only dynasties because I really think the Patriots are only what the Patriots became because they had those 2 games against the Giants. Like, if they won every one of those Super Bowls by 50 points, I think people would look back and be like, that was a great dynasty, but I don't think it would have helped the product. Does that make sense?
That's fair.
Yeah. So you need a good foil.
Yeah, they were beatable. Like people.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing. Is Tom Brady's was really good in the fourth quarter because games were tight. Teams played them well, and there's a difference. So anyway, any more talk about the Dodgers or the field?
No, because I would also take the Dodgers. I don't think, again, the Yankees were the second best team to them last year, and the Dodgers annihilated them. And they've only gotten better. The Mets obviously
they just signed. I'm gonna butcher his name. Is it Roki Sasaki, something like that?
Sure.
From Japan, like just the next big pitcher, and just throw another pitcher into the mix.
Well, that's also another thing.
They already have Snell, Yamamoto, Scott, Yates. They're just lined up. It's just insane. Obviously, hopefully this year they get. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? The guy that signed all the money.
Ohtani.
Yeah. Get him back in rotation, and he's not just a DH. Like, dude, this team is just stacked. It's stupid. But enough with the Dodgers. I'm over it. They're gonna win the World Series. Why even have a season? I mean, it's 162 games. All they got to do is just make the postseason.
Yeah,
it's over.
What is who's? Are you looking at the odds right now?
Oh, I didn't pull them. Are you looking them up?
No. I thought that's where you were getting.
No. I was just
because I mean, obviously, what Yankees Mets would have to be 2 and 3.
Possibly.
But who even is after that?
Let's see here.
The Astros. What?
There's some teams that've gotten better, but right now, Braves are still really good. The Phillies are good. The Mets, Orioles, Astros, Red Sox made a big jump because they signed some big pieces. Padres, but the Dodgers are resounding odd favorites. Do you want to take what their plus is?
No. What is it?
Plus 300. Yankees coming in plus 800. Then the Braves. Everybody after that's 1,000 or plus. Yeah.
That's gonna be. It'll be interesting to see this baseball season if anybody can match them, because just on surface level before we start, like, no way. Dude, nobody can.
No, nobody's gonna touch them. Like the Yankees, the team who I expect probably to get back to the World Series again. Again, I think it's gonna be a Dodgers-Yankees World Series again this year, and I think the Dodgers will blow them out again.
Yeah. All right, Casino. Let's move on to the NBA. And the big news today broke 4 hours ago from when we're recording this is that the San Antonio Spurs All-Star Victor Wembanyama is expected to miss the remainder of the season with deep vein thrombosis
in his
right shoulder, and that's coming from Shams. So
essentially what this is it's a blood clot in the shoulder, but it's isolated in one spot.
Yes.
So it's not like, at least that's what they have found so far. They're going to obviously do more testing and everything, but that's good news. I know blood clots don't sound good, and that sounds bad, but that it's an isolated event that they can work on that, and now they can monitor it. So he doesn't have to go on blood thinners, which would end careers. Like, look what happened with Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh had the same kind of thing. He had to go on blood, like, it ended his career.
Yep.
Who else was there? But that was able to still come back and play.
I know who you're talking about.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a thing, and so people can come back from this, but, like, to have this in his early 20s is just quite frightening for the kid. I mean, he's 21 years old.
I know.
But this is a thing that people who are taller, who are bigger, he's nicknamed the alien, Wemby, which is really funny. Every time I watch ESPN and they like show a highlight of him and they like turn him into an alien, I'm like, what are you doing? Like he'll dunk it and then all of a sudden he'll just like freeze frame it and they'll make him an alien. I'm like,
yeah.
all right, that's great. But I mean, yeah, 7-3. But he's gonna be the face of the NBA.
That is actually what I wanted to talk to you about, Casino, because when you look at the NBA landscape as it is, the arguably three most popular players in the league are LeBron in year 25, Steph Curry, obviously getting up there, not as old as LeBron, but getting closer to LeBron than he is Wembenyama, and then you have Kevin Durant on the Suns. And again, when you look at faces of the league, Lakers are 5th right now in standings in the West. Warriors and Suns are 10th and 11th. So when it comes to the next generation of faces of the NBA, the big question like that everybody keeps asking is, does the face of the NBA have to be an American-born player?
They're going to want it to be, but because that's been the whole thing. Because arguably the best player in the league right now, I don't think it's arguably, is Jokic. Yes, for Denver. And I think
SGA for the Thunder. He's there. There's rumors that they could share co-MVP if they keep
that's fair.
Trending the same way, but still.
But I think there's a real talk come next year. Like as long as Victor Wembanyama is good, come next year, he could be in that running for the best player in the league. He does everything what NBA is right now very well. You know, he's a big man that he can get down low when he needs to, but he can shoot the three. Like he's out there, he can shoot. For being a 7'3" player, for
being an alien,
his shooting, his jump shot is just outstanding. So, like he's a freak of nature. He does every single thing that you want in the NBA, and he's so well rounded, and he does it at a high level.
Yeah,
that this guy, honestly, hopefully this does not ruin his career. Say he's 100% healthy going the rest of his career, and they keep an eye on this and he's fine. He could break almost every stat in the NBA.
Yeah, but again, when you're that size, like I feel like you can't play for as long as like LeBron is like the quintessential like perfect size for a basketball player, right?
Yeah,
because he's big.
Scary.
Yeah, he's big enough where he can like play in the paint with centers, but he's small enough where he can be, on the perimeter and he can do the mid-range and all that kind of stuff. I think Wembanyama, much like what we saw with like Yao Ming, much like we're seeing with Joel Embiid, it's like the bigger, taller guys, either if you go body mass, with like
that's
Zion.
Exactly what I was typing was about the Yao Ming thing. And what set him back was he hurt his foot and his ankle, and he's just a big lanky guy.
Yeah.
It was so many stress fractures to his left foot, as I was saying, and a broken bone in the same foot. And he constantly kept going and going, and he couldn't play anymore. So, I'm worried for Victor Wembanyama, but I do like him. I hope he's okay because I want to see him play more basketball. I like him.
Yeah. But it's also
and the Spurs, they just added some more players, more depth players to their team that this team next year could be really good. So,
well, it's also one of those things where when we talk about we talk about like the American-born players, as I just said. If Trump gets his way, Casino, Canada is going to become a part of the United States. Right? That's what he wants.
The 51st state.
So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, born in Canada, could he be the next American-born player?
So dumb. But to answer your original question, no. The next face of the league is going to be a non-American-born player.
Yeah,
because there's so many great players that are non-American-born that are running the league.
Well, the three top players in the league right now, based on points per game, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, future American, as we just mentioned, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's from Ghana, I think. I think we watched, me and my son watched that. They have a Netflix movie where it's like him and his brother and how they got into basketball. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, I've heard. I don't have time to watch.
But The only thing you watch is Cobra Kai.
I just finished it. It's great.
And then Nikola Jokic is what? He's Russian with Jokic, Ukrainian,
Serbian.
Serbia.
Thank you.
So yeah, he's from Serbia.
Yep.
And then you get to Tyrese Maxey with the Sixers, which I think he has a chance to be the face of the league, but there's so many players ahead of him that are better. I don't think you can have the face of the league be a guy who's, behind 3 different players who are always winning MVPs.
Right.
And then you have the true American-born star who should be the face of the league, but has basically come out every time it's mentioned and been like, I don't want to be the face of the league. That's not what I care about, blah, blah, blah. And that's Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards for the Timberwolves. He should be the face of the league, and that's who the league should be pushing in America. But guy born in, Atlanta, Georgia, much like LeBron James, or like LeBron James is born in like Cleveland, Ohio. So it's like Cleveland, it's Atlanta, it's Georgia, it's Ohio, like some of the most American states you can think of, right? And it's just, he should be the face of the league, but it's like he's actively campaigning not to be the face of the league, which then we get to the next one, Casino, which is again, right now the 3rd, 4th best basketball player. You can argue 2nd best basketball player in the league, which we talked about the Dodgers, moved to the Lakers brand, and that's Luka Doncic.
Right.
So
nice
yeah,
segue.
Thank you. And with the Lakers and Luka, they just got upset kind of big by the Hornets. They lost by 3 in a game where both LeBron James and Luka played. LeBron James played 38 minutes. He was 26 for 11 and 7 rebounds. And then Luka was 14 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists. And I was listening to a bunch of YouTube videos on this game and all this kind of stuff. And again, you even asked it. I don't know if it was in one of our shorts or if it was on the actual pod, but you even asked like, what is this team defensively going to look like when these two are on the court together? So far, it has not been good, but also offensively, when you watch the game, and I can't remember what video I watched that said this so perfectly, but when you watch LeBron and Luka play in the limited games so far they've played together, they don't look like complementary teammates. They look like 2 people on the court who are just like, okay, now it's his turn. Now it's my turn. Now it's his turn. Now it's my turn. And it's not we're on a team. It's not we're on a team and we're playing the same game. It's we're on the team, but you get your minute to shine. I'll get my minute to shine. And then they just keep going back and forth like that. And I think that's a perfect explanation of what the Lakers with LeBron and Doncic have looked like so far. It just seems like, again, I'm not saying they can't mold their game together, but early on, especially again, the defense we knew was going to be an issue. And when you see these 2 play defense, it's like people are doing fadeaway threes in their face. They're literally dribbling towards them, just blowing right past them to the basket. Like, there's no defense being had here. And again, defense wins championships, but it doesn't get you on SportsCenter.
Right.
So
I like that you're saying that. I want to make a nice segue with that, where you're talking about they don't seem like they have good chemistry together and they're off. Players that do, however, is going to Golden State. You got Steph Curry and now their new
Jimmy B
and their new acquired Jimmy B. Butler and Steph look pretty good together. They have a nice sync.
Yeah,
I like that.
Well, Jimmy Butler's my favorite player in the league because he's a crazy asshole, and I kind of like. I always like crazy assholes, right? Like that's so.
But I watched only 2. I don't watch a lot of NBA, but it's been on now since with football being off. I've seen it at work, and just some of the connections that those 2 have had together. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, and then
pretty good. That was a good move for them.
No, and then I also really like that move. And again, in the Western Conference, you have Thunder Grizzlies up top, which are two younger teams. They haven't really been there before. We obviously just talked about Anthony Edwards and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And then you have Lakers with Luka, LeBron, that again, was just the All-Star break. So it's one of those things where they're going to have time to meld this offense together, this team together.
It's not the offense. They're going to have to worry about how are they going to defensively is what they got to figure out. I mean, they just lost to the Hornets.
I know.
Right? So that's the thing where they have to make sure they figure out their defense. Whatever that is. It kind of showed why Dallas wanted to get rid of Luka. Honestly, he's not playing well on defense. And is it because he's out of shape, or is it because he just doesn't care? Or does he not just understand how to play defensive basketball?
No, I think it's just one of those things where the NBA, again, it takes more effort to play defense. So then the scorers are just like,
okay, so that's what I'm saying. So do you think he just doesn't want to play defense?
Mm-hmm. But I think you could say that about so many people in this league, especially the offensive players.
Fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. But he is a superstar. He's a superstar in the league, and he's was a face of a franchise. And so this is something I heard. I hate the guy, but Doug Gottlieb. I was listening to him today, and he was talking about is LeBron now having to basically shape Luka with AD gone, shape Luka into being like the face of the Lakers moving forward? Like, would this tarnish LeBron's like mentoringship for players if he can't get Luka to play defense and to be an all-around player?
Well,
I thought that was an interesting note. I think that's bullshit, but because LeBron already has a great legacy.
Well, also to build on that, and the thing I've always said, this was, of all people, I think I brought this up before. It was Rob Parker, who I know you.
Poo-poo! I can't stand Rob Parker.
I know, I don't like him either. But I did see
he sounds like a super nice guy in person. People talk about and every interaction people have with him sounds like he's very genuinely nice person.
Yeah, he's just terrible at sports talk.
I hate his sports takes.
Yeah,
they're so bad.
Yeah, but they are bad.
Not the GOAT. Blow it out your ass.
They are bad, but this is a point he made a while ago that stuck with me, and I think it was actually a really good point, which is the longer LeBron James plays in the league without getting championships, the worse the championships he has looks, if that makes sense. Because if he's in the league for 25 years, let's say he's a superhuman, more superhuman than he is right now. Let's say he goes all the way up to 30 years in the league before he retires. So then 10, 20 years after that, after he's retired, you're going to look back at LeBron James and be like, this guy played 30 years in the league and he won 4 championships. Mm-hmm. You're going to be like, so there is a point, and I think that is also behind the Luka trade of it all, because I don't believe that LeBron James, again, I don't think he didn't know, but I also don't think this idea wasn't floated by him and he was like, no. I think it might have been one of those things that kind of went past, like kind of just did a talk by, where you're like walking by somebody and you're like, hey, if we could get Luka, what would you think of that? And then LeBron would just be like, oh yeah, like why would I not want Luka? Like one of those things, you get what I'm saying? But if
while they're on the phone with Dallas, as they're walking by.
So I don't think they sat him down. I don't think they sat him down in a room and was like, here's our plan to get Luka. We think I think it was more like hey, trade deadline's coming up. Like, what do you think of these guys? And then he was just like, yes, no, yes, like that kind of stuff. But when it comes to Luka right now, there was Windhorse on one of the many ESPN shows nobody watches. He said, and I quote,
ESPN shows are the worst.
They're so bad. He said, and I quote, which I thought was interesting, the Lakers are under immense pressure to sign Luka Doncic to an extension. Luka currently has no incentive to re-sign with LA. He never said, I want to be a Laker. There are dozens of players over the years who have made it crystal clear they want to be a Laker. Luka has never said this.
No, he's said that he wanted to retire in Dallas.
Yeah. And then to add on to that, when he was interviewed, I believe last night against after the loss to the Hornets, they asked him if he spent All-Star break studying how he could play alongside LeBron. His quote was, "Honestly, I was getting my mind off basketball." So
he is checked out. He does not want to play for the Lakers.
I think that
He's checked out, man.
That might be a portion or a part of this story that nobody has like really thought about or connected the dots, which is what you just said. I'll check. I think.
Oh, we're good.
Yeah. Which is, does Luka even want to play? Obviously, LeBron wants to play. The whole big point I'm trying to make is LeBron wants to play with Luka because it brings him closer to getting a championship.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's the second, arguably first, you could definitely top 3 player in the league right now. Right?
Even
LeBron
he's
James
out of shape and doesn't play defense.
Yeah. LeBron James, obviously, clock is ticking on his career, blah, blah, blah. So we're all looking at this from the perspective. We're all looking at this from the perspective of LeBron wants to play with Luka because it helps LeBron get a championship. We've never looked at it from the side of Luka and been like, does Luka want to play with LeBron to help him get Kyrie, and was 4 games away from winning a championship?
Look what Dallas did. Yeah, exactly. Look what Dallas did without, having Luka with LeBron.
Yeah.
Like, I think this was the worst move for everybody.
Well, it was definitely the worst move for Dallas because now Anthony Davis is already out with an injury like 2 games into being traded. So
it's fake.
But again,
faking it. Well, both these players are faking it.
Well, no. And again, that was the dumbest narrative coming out of the whole thing, where it's like, oh, the Mavericks are in win now mode. And then it was like, yeah, with the guy they just had, they were in the NBA finals. What is a more win now mode than that?
Dude.
And again, if Anthony Davis is healthy, he's one of the best defenders in the league, him and Kyrie.
In my opinion, he's the best defender in the league when he's healthy. Because he wants to play defense.
Yeah, and then he can play, he can play just the funnel in the middle from Kyrie, and then I would actually like Dallas in like the Western Conference where big men and defense are kind of second to all the teams in front of them. But because defense wins championships, Casino. I don't know if you've heard that before.
Yeah.
But so I would like them in the Western Conference if he was healthy, but that's the issue. He's never healthy. So, just a big, hodgepodge mix up there.
So last thing on NBA that I kind of want to touch on with you, 2 things actually. One, let's talk about the All-Star thing. So obviously LeBron, he opted out, and I think that's just his age. I think he could have gone around better with this. He knew he was already on vacation. He wasn't going to do the All-Star
that's game. One of those things like I don't know why people are trying to make it a story. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
He's been in 20 of them. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, the only thing is I don't think he handled it well because he already, in my opinion, he knew he wasn't going to do it. So just be out front with it that you're not going to do it.
Yeah, but that also might have been an NBA thing where they were like, don't release this because we want
tickets.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Which again,
but you know what? Here's the thing. It did not help because viewership was down again for the All-Star game.
Yeah, because it was awful. Huh?
What are you checking for?
I'm just checking the levels, and they sound.
Check the level. Something's coming. I won't continue. I don't want to get. Great song.
They sound fantastic.
Dirty Heads. Great. Anyway, but so with that being said, the All-Star game was a dud again. It was on. This is how I know it was a dud. I'm not the biggest NBA guy, right? I'm more individual players. I like that. I'm a Celtics fan by trade. But what I noticed was that it was on TV. I didn't put 2 and 2 together that was the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Like I did not. I was like, oh, it's team whatever. On a quick glance, and I'm like, oh, it's one of those G League things, whatever. I didn't realize it was the All-Star game.
Yeah, because this year they tried to do the thing where it's like they made 3 or 4 different teams, and it was just blah blah blah. Again, it's so this All-Star game right here.
Ratings were down. They're trying too many gimmicks.
Well, it's this thing. So it is the second worst ratings for the NBA All-Star game since they started tracking this, right? So it was it's just one of those things where, and this is right here, just 4.7 million people watched the NBA All-Star Game on Sunday. That's down over 80% viewership in the past and down 13% since last year. This is a lot, man. Again, you can look at all the arguments and things against it where it's just like, every dumb fucking idiot online is just like woke, LeBron James, like blah, blah. It's none of that. It is, I was thinking about this on the drive over because I knew we were going to talk about this. And there was a time where, people who like pro wrestling, right? People who like pro wrestling were constantly like, I love pro wrestling, but when I watch Monday Night Raw, when I watched at the time Thursday Night SmackDown, when I go back to WCW, TNA, AEW, all the wrestling ones. When I watched those shows, and then you would watch it and it'd just be like a bunch of people talking. And then there'd be more people talking. And then there'd be a backstage segment. And then there would be a comedy skit. And then there would be more people talking. And it just became this thing where then, like people who write about pro wrestling would be like, oh, hey, Monday Night Raw got changed to a 3-hour show. And of the 3 hours, there was 17 minutes of professional wrestling where two people actually got in the ring and wrestled each other. There was, 45 minutes of commercials. There was, 120 minutes of people talking with each other. And it just became this thing where that's actually where AEW came in, and they were like, we're going to be the alternative to the WWE, where we're actually going to have people wrestle. This is how I feel about the All-Star Game, where the All-Star Game, much like why the Pro Bowl got taken away and the the MLB All-Star Game and all that kind of stuff, where it's just the point of it is supposed to be the celebration of the sport. Correct?
Yeah.
The NBA All-Star Game is supposed to be a celebration of basketball and honoring the players who play basketball and have been the best thus far this year. Correct?
Yeah.
So in this game, if you watched it, it was 50% of it was, oh, hey, let's have Kevin Hart just loudly making jokes and like talking during all basketball, introductions and all this kind of stuff. Let's have the All-Star, or let's have the slam dunk contest be won for the third year in a row by a guy who does not play in the NBA. I love Matt McClung. He is the Cooper DeJean of the NBA. Right? When it comes to slam dunk competition.
Not Reed Blankenship?
No. Yeah, well, that
was a funny video, by the way.
Yeah.
So during the parade, everybody was chanting, Coop, and Reed goes, I'm Reed! This is another white guy. That's great. That was so funny. I'm Reed!
Yeah. I told you, me and my son, when we went to Summer League, that was when Matt McClung, before he won his first slam dunk competition, he was with the Golden State Warriors during Summer League, and he put up like 30 points in the game. And me and my son were losing our minds that this little white guy was like killing it, right? And then he won the dunk contest, and we were like, oh, that's so cool. We saw him, blah, blah, blah. But now, again, he's now won 3 years in a row, or he's won back-to-back. I believe it's 3 years in a row. And it just becomes one of those things where now the game and the weekend that's supposed to honor the current NBA players and the great seasons they're having are just completely diluted by unfunny comedy, by, musical performances, by the guys for NBA on TNT just constantly being like, this sucks. This is awful. Like, our product shit. Then you have Draymond Green being like, this is a 0 in terms of who would want to watch this. Like, blah, blah, blah. Then you have a guy in the G League winning the dunk competition against guys nobody gives a shit about. And then it's also like Steph Curry and Damian Lillard are doing the 3-point competition. The thing everybody last year was like, oh man, that's so cool, is when they had the WNBA players also in the 3-point competitions. So this year, the WNBA is owned by the NBA. So for them not to have Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese
Caitlin Clark, who just signed $100 million with the Fever.
And then literally to not incorporate the Caitlin Clark might be the most popular basketball player in the United States right now.
Oh, definitely.
Right? So to have her, if it
especially
was
after that contract, everybody's like, okay, now for those who don't know, like, what am I missing? Why is this?
Yeah,
$100 million contract.
Also, she got famous in college for shooting 3-pointers, right? So how is it not Steph Curry? How is it not her in a 3-point shooting contest? How is it not, get Anthony Edwards, get Ja Morant, get Wembenyama.
It's just these players don't want to be in it. They don't care.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, just be like, I honestly think you should get rid of the All-Star game.
That's fair.
That's my hot take.
I mean, you know how I feel about all our All-Star games and
Pro Bowls
and all that stuff. I mean, the only one that I thought was worth a damn because it meant something was the MLB. This is a decade ago now, plus whatever it is now. But it used to be whoever won that game, that AFC or the AFC, the American League or the National League, they got home field advantage for the World Series.
Yeah, and then they got rid of that.
Yeah,
because the players,
because a couple players got hurt.
Yeah,
but guess what? I would play hard if my team had a shot. Obviously, if you're in the All-Star game, you have a shot. I mean, well, with baseball, they have somebody from every team, blah blah blah. But if I have a shot to make the World Series, I'm gonna play my ass off. If there was home field advantage on the line, I want to win that.
Yeah, exactly.
It made it interesting, and viewership went up. They need to do something like that in the NBA. They need to just go back to that. The NFL, they just need to make it full contact. And the reason, and they should just cut games, just fucking cut games. Players are playing to win the Super Bowl, you're playing 23 games. This is insane.
I know. Well, also that's another thing with what is it, the NBA, which is just like
college fucking seasons.
Okay, what if again they have all these player unions who meet with the league and discuss things? It's like, how can you as the league not be like, hey, players, you're worried about getting hurt? What if you promise to play in the All-Star game and to actually make it a competitive game? We'll take 10 games off the season. Why don't they do something like that? You're so scared about getting hurt, we'll add longer breaks, we'll add less games.
I also think that NBA players should not be such babies. They should actually, I mean, suck it up, Buttercup. Suck it up, Buttercup. I know there's money to be made in the NBA and all that jazz, but just suck it up, man. If play the game or don't play the game, retire, whatever. This load manage bullshit, I hate. I hate it.
But it's also one of those things.
That's the NBA to me. I hate them. Anyway, moving on. Let's get off NBA unless you have anything more. I mean, you kind of touched on the Caitlin Clark thing I was going to bring up. Is she is the most popular player in all of basketball right now.
Yeah.
And then I was able to talk about her deal real quick, but she should keep getting more money for what she's doing for the NBA. The NBA itself should just pay her for her, likeness, image, likeness, whatever that stupid college football thing is. But yeah, she should get paid more money because people are watching. Anyway, moving on. This is probably going to be the last topic we have for the day, unless you can think of anything else. Let's get to some hockey. I know that's what everybody wanted to talk about today was some hockey. Doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it. I love hockey. And right now, unless you've been living under a rock, you know that U.S. versus Canada is coming tonight, actually. They play the finals in this four-nation face-off. So with the four-nation face-off, it was Finland, Sweden, U.S., and Canada this year, or this go-around. And, yeah, first meeting between Canada and U.S. was pretty intense. Let's just say that. So it's in Canada, and each team plays each other once, and they score points and then go from there, right? And, well, during the national anthem, the U.S. the Canadians were booing the U.S. national anthem. That's not really that nice to do. And And, that's the first time I've ever seen that in hockey, because I've been to a lot of hockey games playing Canadian teams. Maybe it's just a Vegas thing, but I haven't heard from – you'd feel like that would be a thing that you'd hear about on sports is if that happened more often.
Yeah.
Booing of national anthems. So that was happening. So to start the game, U.S. in the first 9 seconds initiated 3 fights, which was outstanding. They won. I would say they won 2, lost 1. But U.S. ended up winning that game 3-1, which is outstanding. And, yeah, so it comes down to tonight against U.S.-Canada. This is going to be the first time these two teams have played each other in a best-of series. Actually, the first game was the first time they played in a best-of series internationally since 2016. This will be the first time since 1998 that these two teams went up against each other. 1996 went up to each other to decide a final. So, yeah, this is going to be fun. And right now, I think U.S. they have the odds to win it. There's some players that are out for Team Canada. Actually, 2 of them being Vegas Golden Knights players, actually. Both on defense. You have both Shea Theodore is out, and also Alex Pietrangelo was out. And then the only person that is going to be fully out for U.S. tonight is Charlie McAvoy, who plays for Boston. He's done. He's getting sent back. They want to make sure everything's okay with him. But both of the I can't stand them. But both of the Tkachuk brothers are back. They got cleared to play. Matthew and Brady Tkachuk are going to play. Austin Matthews got cleared. So pretty much they have their whole team outside of McAvoy, which is a big loss. But, yep, I think losing 2 major defensive players is going to be tough for Canada to come back from. I think USA takes it. Are you going to watch this game at all? Be honest.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. I'm really excited for this. I'm really excited for this game, man. It's going to mean a lot because USA can say that they're on top of the hockey world. So because all these teams, these are some of the best international teams out there. Finland, Sweden, Canada, U.S. There's a few other good teams out there as well, international teams. But they did the four nations face off for that reason, and they had those 4 teams in for a reason. So this is gonna be really fun. I can't wait to watch it tonight.
Yeah.
Kind of that's all I kind of have to say. If you haven't seen any of what happened during that first meeting between the two teams, yeah. And then this is also going to really help out the U.S. is tonight the first game that they played was in Canada. Tonight's game, and please Boston, I'm a Boston sports fan. Don't boo the Canadian national anthem. Don't do it. It's playing at the TD Garden tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern until 5 p.m. Pacific. So it's like right when I get to work. Don't do it. And I could see, God damn it, I could see those stupid Bostonians doing that. I've been there. I've been out there, and I've been to games, and yeah, Boston fans are the worst. I mean, Philly fans are the worst, but ugh. Just don't boo the Canadian national anthem because I don't want them to get fueled. But yeah, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be real fun, and this is a good preview of what we're gonna see in the 2026 Olympics in Italy between these two teams because the roster should pretty much be the exact same. It's a year away, so looking forward to this. Looking forward to this a lot. Yeah, boy. Do you have anything else to say before we want to get out of here? We got a little time. I say about 5 minutes.
You
just want to talk about our day.
Well, you know what? Let's just spend the last 5 minutes because we did do a whole show that I had to delete because we tried to do it live. Yeah. And it was just not. We're just not having it on Tuesday.
It just doesn't work.
So let's just quickly go through these casino. And again, since these have kind of more or less picked up more steam since then. Yeah. So Stafford to the Giants. How real of a possibility do you think it is at this current moment?
78%.
I also think that there is just something weird is happening where we are just not getting all this kind of feels like a Lucas situation where it's like there's something happening in the Rams organization, specifically with Stafford, where I feel like his age and the money they owe him, is one of those things where they don't want to, what is it? They don't want to send him.
So you say age, though, but there's been, the talks about Rodgers going there and filling that spot.
Yeah, but then George Pickens is coming out, which actually was saying like it'd be a dream come true to play with Rodgers in Pittsburgh, and
dude, there's going to be a wild offseason.
Well, it just seems like a lot of the older quarterbacks are going to kind of be on the move, because then there's also talk of like, do the Falcons cut Kirk Cousins? And then where would he go?
Yeah.
And then
Does
it's
Sam
like
Darnold get traded? Does Dak get traded?
So I feel like, but again, it's just kind of like you're moving all these guys around to do what? Like if the Giants got Matthew Stafford,
to do something. It's as simple as that. Is to do something.
Yeah, but again, it's one of those things where like if Matthew Stafford goes from the Rams, which again, the Rams and the Eagles, that was the closest game in the playoffs for the Eagles. Yeah. And one or two plays go differently in that game. Like
the Rams would have
went to the Super Bowl.
Would have gone to the Super Bowl.
And who knows what happened.
The Chiefs would have won.
Well, no, I mean, Verse was a monster that season.
The Eagles were the only one to stop them. The Eagles were, the Bills stopped them. They had their shot, but that whole thing. But, yeah.
But then it becomes one of those things where, what is it? It becomes one of those things where if Stafford goes from the Rams, who are legitimate Super Bowl contenders, right? I think their defense is young and hungry. They have Nakua. They've shown throughout their entire Sean McVay, venture that they can bring in a 6th-round wide receiver, and all of a sudden he's the second best wide receiver in that.
5th round.
Well, yeah, but still, you get what I'm saying. It's like one of those things. So then it becomes like this kind of hodgepodge of.
Why do you use that?
I love that because it's a great word. But
no, it's a hodgepodge of words to make a hodgepodge.
But then it becomes that thing where, do you risk trading? Do you risk trading Matthew Stafford? And then hopefully, like if you're the Rams, I know why the Giants do this. Because if you trade Stafford to the Giants and then all of a sudden, who knows if the Giants can go to like a 9-7 wildcard team, right? But if you're the Rams, what the fuck are you doing at quarterback without Stafford?
Right.
Like you're going to go get Aaron Rodgers, who has been worse than Stafford for 5 years. Like you're going to get Sam Darnold, who was good 1 year. You're going to draft somebody with the 27th pick. Like, what do you do if you're the Rams? Again, I feel like this has been a lot of talk of like, they don't want Cooper Kupp, they don't want Stafford, but no news of like who they do want.
Yeah.
And then if you're Rodgers, obviously you're out for New York. Like you can't remake that relationship. It's done. It's over. So I think you do go to the Steelers. But again, if you're the Steelers, how many years are you going to do we'll sign an older quarterback on a 1-year deal and then just kind of throw our hands up and be like, here we go. Like, and
until
then
Mike Tomlin's gone, essentially.
Yeah.
Because Mike Tomlin's he's just going to keep making his money and doing his thing of being mediocre.
Yeah. And then the last one I had.
Above mediocre.
The last quarterback I had was there's rumors that Darnold goes to the Raiders, which I actually think would be a great fit. I think, especially with Brady there, with Pete Carroll there, like I think that would actually. But again, if you're the Vikings, why would you let
I wouldn't.
Darnold
if I was
go?
The Vikings, I wouldn't let Darnold go.
Well, but also it's one of those things where you're going to have to sign him because have you seen the ridiculous number that it is to franchise tag a quarterback? It's like $40 to $45 million a year.
43. I thought is what it was at.
Yeah. So if you're going to try to franchise him or keep him like that, then you might as well just sign him to a contract.
Yeah.
Because
so move off of him. But I don't know, man. But yeah, I would like him here.
Yeah, I think it. Well, we are recording in Las Vegas. Maybe we could get him on the podcast.
That would be cool.
Sam Darnold. We've only said good things about him.
I've only said great things about him. I said that I could see Sam Darnold hosting a Lombardi Trophy.
I asked him if he wanted to be the godfather to my children. So he didn't. I'm still waiting on an answer.
I'll stop there.
All right, Casino. Anything else before we get out of here?
No, just like, subscribe, tell your friends, family members, whatever. We're really pushing on trying to get subscribers this year. Yeah. Help us on out.
And I know you're saying at home, well, to get subscribers, you guys have to post things. And this is the first step in that, because this will be the first show we posted since the Super Bowl, which is crazy.
Life, guys.
Yeah. So we'll be more consistent on that, obviously.
We really are trying.
This is just a weird week. And this was a weird day right before the recording. Maybe I'll reveal that in the future. But I'm Will. That's Casino over there.
Yeah.
This has been the Only Sports Podcast. Adios.